So where? Okay, well, you know what, Jeff? Thank you very much for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
And I hope I didn't take up your busy day, man.
No, this is kind of what I do now. So just
And
design games and talk to people.
Is it really?
Pretty much. Yeah, I have heart issues, so it's been, you know, I have health issues, so I'm not able to work. So to keep myself busy, I make games and do this.
Yeah, and you know what? I was checking out. I mean, BGG sometimes isn't the best in terms of accurate information, but I mean, I think what you got, like 21 games out, man?
That doesn't seem right. I think it's around 13 or 14. I think, as far as designers, but we've also developed some. So we develop and publish games too. So,
I mean, what I know from you, Jeff, is what you've published with GMT, and I'm curious why GMT picked up your the car. I always forget your first car game, for God's sakes.
Maneuver.
No, sorry, Thunder Alley for GMT. Was that the first car game for GMT?
The first car game, yes.
Yeah. Now, I read that you're a big sports fan. You'd watch any sports as long as it's competitive, and I'm assuming good sportsmanship. Are you a hockey fan?
Yeah.
Who's your team?
Well, I live in Columbus, so it's the Columbus Blue Jackets now.
You know, I stopped watching hockey. I don't know if you remember. I used to be a big Habs fan because I'm in Montreal, right?
Okay.
And I remember the Habs were doing really, really good with the Patrick Roy and Nets, Guy Carbonneau, and they had this little guy called Chris Chelios.
Okay, yeah.
And when they traded Chris Chelios, I lost it, man. I'm like, I don't know what you're doing, man. You're tearing apart the team. This is the spine of the team, and I haven't watched a hockey game since.
There's some of that going around with a lot of different sports and people and stuff. I mean, the sports world's changing, and some of us older guys don't always change with it.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, I think there was with Chris Chelios. I think there was an incident with him, Schneider, and the commissioner's wife.
Oh, okay.
So
that sounds like an incident.
Well, it is an incident. I mean, it's hush hush, but being in Montreal, I mean, you see these hockey players all over the place, and we're not starstruck. I don't know why. You know, it's like, hey, Chris, what's up? You know, hey, whatever. Ken Dryden, what's going on? And I got the skinny from the people. But, you know, I always thought, man, this is business. You know what I mean? So Chelios did whatever Chelios did. Schneider did whatever Schneider did. And anyways, the Habs haven't won a Stanley Cup since. So you know what I'm saying? Anyways.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, I know you from the car games. Now, your first game was Maneuver with GMT, right, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
That's correct.
Now, the only subject you haven't touched on is probably synchronized swimming.
Well, I tried.
Did you really?
As part of, yeah, I've been working for years on trying to figure out a good way to make like the whole Olympic system into a game. We have some ideas, but it just hasn't reached the top of the pile yet to get finished off. But synchronized swimming in there.
That's incredible. I was taking a shot. I was taking a shot, really. Now, what's intriguing about your designs is that in 2015 you put out 20th Century Limited. Now that's a train game.
Yep.
So you did trains.
Yep.
Can't Stop Rolling Down the Highway. That's got to be cars.
That is just a. Have you ever played Can't Stop?
No.
Okay, it's a little dice rolling game, built like a stop sign. You try and race your pylons up to the top. Me and a friend of mine from Cabs, we just sort of had an idea to, the game's filled with these little squares inside the stop sign, and we're like, man, there's a lot of terrain there that's not being used for anything. So we just made tiles that fit in the squares for an already finished game. And it was just a little expansion, but it's pretty cool.
So that idea, did it come out from that game called Milborns?
No, but I played Milborns.
So there's no connection to Milborns and Can't Stop, right?
There's no connection to it now. Other than they kind of cover the same stuff.
And you have a game, well, you did Fast and Furious.
Yep.
And that was before Grand Prix.
I believe you're right.
And was that before Thunder Alley? No.
I was working on those two together at the same time. It came out, I think, after Thunder Alley. I'm pretty sure it came out after Thunder Alley.
And who's publishing that game?
Well, it was published by Game Salute back in the day. But they're gone now, and the rights are back to me, although we got the Fast and Furious license through them. So as far as it being just a street racing game, I have it, and I'm working on trying to get it back out.
And who you pitching it to?
We have our own publishing company now, Laboratory H.
Oh, okay.
So we sort of just do most of the stuff. You know, most of our games are just piled up through it. We generally save the war games and stuff like that for GMT because they just have a bigger audience.
Oh, is that why? Now your Laboratory H games, why wouldn't you publish all your games there now?
Well, for one, like I said, for one thing, for war games like Maneuver and the one we just have coming out, Seas of Thunder, we just think it's better. It gets a wider swath with GMT. They have the expertise, they have the artists. So I just use them as like our war game outlet because I don't do, I'm not constantly putting out war games, but when I have one, I go with them. They've also been like super great to me. They, when we've had money issues, they've sort of forwarded money on stuff, and they have just been the best guys to work with. And so I have a lot of loyalty to them. Even though we have our own company, I still consider myself a GMT, player, designer, all the way through.
And it's funny, you're not the only designer who says that about GMT. I'm trying to find some dirt and dirty laundry on GMT, and I just can't.
You're not going to find it from me. I love all those guys.
Yeah, everybody says that, and I'm just joking about the dirt thing. But your company, just so the people can understand where it's at. What's the full what's the full name of that company? LH?
Laboratory H. And if
Laboratory H, that's easily found on the web, obviously, right?
Yep. You spell it out, Laboratory H, and it's laboratoryh.com is the website. And you can buy all the stuff we have left over from the store if they want to. We have a couple of really good games on there right now. We have Lords of Baseball coming out sometime in the next few months. It's pretty much done. It's at the printer. And then we have an expansion for our biggest game, which is Dark Domains. We have. Hey,
I was going to ask you about Dark Domains. That's really intriguing. Now, first of all, you started wargaming long time ago, is that right? Not wargaming, but gaming long time ago.
Early 70s, yeah.
And just like the sports thing, with you interested in all these sports, were you interested in all types of subjects, all type of games, Euros, war games?
Yes, I've loved all the different types of games, anything I could find. We I grew up playing the traditional family games, Monopoly, Clue, Scrabble, all that kind of stuff. Then we found, back in the 70s and early 80s, you would find a little of this and a little of that kind of odd games. And if there was an odd game that I could get a hold of, I would play it. And then obviously we found Avalon Hill and SPI and those kind of games. Then we played those forever. And then in the 90s, we found this little game called El Grande, which we thought was a war game about Spain, but it was not. It turned out to be our first venture into Euro games. And that brought Carla into it. Carla always played games, but she was more of a rummy player and a checkers or, just the standard games. But once we found Euro games, she was at the table with us all the time.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Well, my wife used to play games like Dominion, and we actually played D-Day Dice with my wife, Pathfinder, but all of a sudden she don't want to play nothing. Yeah, I know. But look, Dark Dominions, that's RPG, isn't it?
No.
It's not an RPG?
It is not. Nope, it's a worker placement.
And, oh, okay. So basically you are, what, a mayor of a town?
Okay, so the premise is you have been sent out to colonize an area around a central town, which is the game board, and you're making your own domain. But the people who sent you out think you're good guys, but you're actually bad guys. And you're working for the necromancer. So you're trying to build a city and then turn it evil. And whoever could do the best job at getting the most evil in the game wins the game.
Now, the people who are working for the necromancer, is everybody working for the necromancer?
Everybody's working for the necromancer. Your job is just to try and become his right-hand man. You want to make the best. You want to get the most evil. You want to be the most.
So everybody's evil. There's no hidden player evil.
No, everybody's a bad guy.
And you got like expansions on that. The Lab Rat. You got the Arcana Fortune cards from the elemental card, the Secret Cabal.
Yep.
And is that available on your site?
The Secret Cabal stuff is not, because that was something we did for one of their fundraisers one year. So they have all those cards. You have to get it through them. I don't know if they still have any left. We sent them 1,000 of them, so I can imagine they would have to have some. I just don't know if they still have access to them. But all the other cards you can buy, all the ones that you can buy, we have on our website, or we will within the next week or so. But every year we send out, we have what we call Lab Rats. They're the people who are like our hardcore fans. They followed us from Maneuver to Thunder Alley to, the train games now, and they're with Dark Domains, and they're with Laboratory H. So we decided to set up a program for them where every year we try and send them a gift. And it's just a little pack of cards. It's something to, something for free. But if you're a Lab Rat, you get it for free every year, and then we put it up for sale for everybody else. And that's what all those different packs of cards are their gifts to the people who are fans. And right now, Carl and I are working on play testing next year's, the ones that we'll send out hopefully around Christmas of this year. We're working on getting them play tested so we can send them out again. But it's just a way we like to try and give back to the, I hate saying the word give back. We're not really doing that. We're trying to keep the interest of the people who are interested in what we do. We're trying to keep them excited about what Laboratory H is doing.
Now, isn't that costly?
It is, but we work with a really great group of guys. We work with Sean Brown at Mr. B Games, and Keith Bloom is sort of a partner of ours at L4 Studios, and we're able to sort of, even though we do have to pay the artist for some of the cards when we have new art on them, generally we're able to sort of sneak that run of a low count 500 count set of cards, pack of cards, or 4 or 6 cards each. We're kind of able to sneak them in with, another game that's being published at real minimal price. I mean, I'm not trying to say, we're doing this for you because we can do it for free.
Right.
But we, if it was costing us an arm and a leg, we wouldn't be able to do it. But because we're able to access and leverage, other partners who think who actually also think that this program is really great, and they love the fact that we're doing stuff for the fans. So they kind of bend over backwards to help us get these cards out to the fans.
And your fans for this game, this is worldwide?
Yes. Oh yeah.
So you're shipping all over the place, man.
We are. We just sent out, like I said, last year's stuff last month. And we have people in Romania and Britain and Australia and Germany and France. So yeah, it goes to a lot of places. And
you don't they're in English, these cards, is that right?
Yes, they're in English.
Okay, because that would be another holy moly.
Yeah, I have trouble enough trying to proofread the game in English, let alone try and do it in a different language.
You know, once I had contacted you once a long time ago concerning Grand Prix. And I don't know if you remember this. And I said, hey, I'll try to bring this game to the F1 in Montreal. You don't have any plugs with the Grand Prix? Have you tried? Because you bring this game to the Grand Prix and you're getting yourself a nice car there with the amount of games you're going to sell, for sure. Have you tried that?
No, we haven't. Because honestly, Grand Prix, Thunder Alley, and Apocalypse Road, those are not really my games to commit things to. That's
I see.
That's GMT's purview. So I can't really go out and make a deal with Formula One
because
and then
it
tell
belongs
GMT,
to GMT.
you
You're right.
print, you need to print 5,000 copies of this game. I mean, that's kind of for them to do.
Yeah,
and I don't want to step on their toes. I would love it if they did.
You know what? It's funny. Eh? I want to interview Gene soon. He's a hard man to track down. And I'm going to mention that to him because, like I said, in Montreal, it's a small little town. Even though we have the Grand Prix, I'm sure someone I know or something can say, oh, yeah, I'll send it to this guy. And anyways, hopefully it works out. But I don't know. It was an idea of mine, and I thought it would be great for Grand Prix, great for whatever. By the way, I don't want to cut, so there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I have friends around here who also think the same thing about NASCAR, and
right.
And I'm like, I don't disagree with you, but again, it's not my call.
Yeah, I know. I get it. Are you gonna do any more car games after Apocalypse Road?
Probably not. There's nothing on the horizon. The only thing there might be is somebody wanted to do motorcycle racing with me. I don't know anything about it, so I told them if they would partner with me, that and give me some idea of what I'm supposed to put in the game, then that would be acceptable. But I never heard back from that.
Okay. And you know what made you do Apocalypse Road? Are you a Car Wars fan?
Nope. What made me do Apocalypse Road was I put out Thunder Alley, and the first thing everybody wanted to know was how can they run around and crash into each other and shoot each other with guns? I got to ask that at 2 straight conventions. That was the only question I got. So Carl and I went home after that second convention and said, okay, we're putting guns in this game.
That's insane anyways. I don't know if people have bloodlust or something, man.
They just wanted to run. It's something about NASCAR. Nobody says they want to run, they don't want to run into each other in Grand Prix, but they want to run into each other in NASCAR. And it's kind of abstracted in the game. So they were like, oh, we really want to run people into the walls, and we want to do what they do on TV. And I'm like, well, that's not really in the game right now, but I guess I can make a game with that in it. And that seemed to pacify people. They seemed okay. Well, let's have that.
And how was that? When you pitched that to GMT, how was that received?
It was received fine. I don't know my relation versus the relation to other people with GMT, but once I did maneuver for them, they kind of just let me decide what I want to do. And if I want to do it and I have it done and I think it's in good shape, they'll just put it on the P500 and see what happens. They don't really give me much editing. Andy Lewis helped me a lot at GMT getting Thunder Alley into a playable form. We were having a lot of trouble with the NASCAR part of it and we just couldn't get the game fun, Thunder Alley. And he came up with like a super idea of having it be a team race instead of being individual car racing. And as soon as we had the team race, we had the game, and then everything else has come from that. But other than that, they sort of just leave me alone and let me do stuff, and then I turn it in, and they'll tell me, about halfway through when I think I have the idea that I want, I will sort of send it to Tony and say, okay, here's what I'm doing. Is this too expensive? And he always comes back with, yes, this is way too expensive. You need to cut out like 80 things in this game. So then I work with him a little bit, and we get down to a reasonable amount that the game is going to cost to make, and then from there on, I just finish it.
Yeah, Go ahead. Sorry, Jeff. Sorry.
I was to say that's what we had to do with Seas of Thunder. That's why it sticks with me the most. Is I gave him this list of all the stuff I wanted for Seas of Thunder, and he goes, "No, you can't have that. That game will cost $200. You can't do that." So I said, "Okay, we'll fix it. We'll figure it out," and we figured it out.
You're talking $100 cost, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. He goes, we can't charge that for this game. And I think he even said something like he doesn't even think there's a box that would hold it. So
really, eh?
So, you know, we had all kinds of stuff in it, and it would have been really a thing. But, you know, he gave us some direction. We cut it down, and it's now a really cool streamlined thing. And so we do that sort of with all the stuff. We sort of, I've learned not to complete the game until I've sort of gotten a price estimate through it. Because I always have too much stuff in the games, and I always end up having to cut a bunch of stuff out.
Well, right now it's on a ridiculously low price of $45.
Right.
And how many people do we have here? 782 orders. What are they waiting for to print this, man?
Oh, I have it. It's right up there. I have the first one. So they're printed, they're packed. I don't know when they're getting into the warehouse or whatever, but they're done.
Oh, no way. Are you happy with the package?
Extremely happy. Yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, I'm really excited with it. It looks great. It's got 5 pages. It's got 5 sheets of counters for it. So like 1,400 chips.
Seriously, eh? How do you do you being all over the place in terms of game design? How do you research stuff like this, man?
That's the part I love. I go to libraries. I do it online. I buy old military books and stuff. I do a lot of research at half-price books. I just pick a topic that interests me, and or on the other hand, I find a game that I think should be really cool and it's not, and I just try and come at it from a different angle.
Okay, so you're a true artist. You steal and make it your own. That's a true artist.
I'm not going to deny that.
No, but that's the best. The best music is always taken from the best music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyways, and this is a simulation. Is that right?
I don't think anything I do is really a simulation. I leave that to the people who are like really versed in the material. I'm more of a mile wide, foot deep kind of guy, whereas, you know, some people are, you know, foot wide, a mile deep in their knowledge. I do more of, I like to do more where it comes out being a game versus a simulation. I want 2 people to play it, and whether they know anything at all about the battle on the high seas during World War II, or NASCAR, or Napoleonics, or trains, they don't need to know anything about that to compete with another person at the table, even if that person knows more. I want it to be a game. I want the 2 people to be able to play and have a good experience and not have to know all the Chrome rules and all the history to be able to get something fun out of it.
Now, talking about all the history, are you gonna get any fan mail on these grognards who say no, this ship didn't have the machine gun, the 40mm on this side, it's on the other side? Is that gonna happen to you on this game?
Yes.
Okay, so you're expecting this, man.
It's going to be loud. It's going to be, I'm crazy. It's going to be, what are you thinking? Why is this here? Why? These people didn't do that. And I'm like, I know it, they didn't do that, but the game wasn't fun without them doing it. Like, a big part of our game is the Vichy French. Their fleet didn't do much in World War II, mostly sat in ports. But to make the game competitive between the Axis and Allied side, the Vichy have to come out and do something. They just have to be a part of the game. And I know I'm going to hear, oh, they didn't do that. They didn't do anything. They weren't any part of it. Like, yeah, I know, but that wouldn't have been fun. It wasn't fun.
You get to hear all this fun stuff when you go to cons?
I'm sorry, what?
You get to hear all this fun criticism when you go to cons?
I think I used to more than I do now, because I think people realize I'm not really listening to it. I really don't.
Yeah,
I understand I understand their point, and it's because they'll give it to me, and I'll agree with them. You know, you're 100% right.
Yeah, but they missed the point.
Right. And I'm like, yeah, it's 100% right. And if you feel that important, you just take those counters and you put them in a baggie and you store them in the bottom of the box and play without them. It's your game. You own it now. You can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, man. I find that funny. I find that funny because you're going to get it again, I guess. And you're expecting it.
I would be disappointed.
You would be, eh?
I would be disappointed with the people who play the war games and the GMT crowd. If nobody brought any of this stuff up, I would feel like they're not paying any attention to me.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. That means they've dissected your game, man.
Yep.
And are you other than the games that you have out, I mean, this Dark Domain it takes a twisted mind, Jeff, to create a game like that.
Well, then we can blame Carla for that.
Is it Carla? Oh, that's cool. No, but that's cool. Is Carla to blame for Apocalypse Road too?
No. Apocalypse Road is definitely the people at the conventions who told me they wanted to shoot each other. That game is all their responsibility. I never would have made that game on my own, just sitting around thinking about what to do next. If I hadn't had demand for that one, I never would have done it.
Okay, and it's good to note that Carla is your co-designer on a lot of games, especially the Thunder Alley, the Grand Prix, and the Apocalypse Road. And there's going to be other games that I can't see right now. Is she co-designer in any maneuver games?
Nope, she doesn't really deal with the war games, so she was not a co-designer on Maneuver or Seas of Thunder. But she is on Dark Domains, and Dark Domains was her idea. But we have a really cool relationship where I love to do the research. I love to come up with the mechanics and figure out how a game should be played. And then Carla, once I sort of have the notion of everything, how it's going to go, then generally that's when she steps in and starts telling me, well, this is too complicated. Nobody wants to do this. This is horrible. And so she basically comes in as as like an editing designer, where she'll put her point of view in, tell me what works, what doesn't. And she is invaluable because sometimes she's the only person who will tell me what works and what doesn't. A lot of times people will just, oh, that's great. That's fine. That's nice.
Okay.
But she will give me specific points of, oh, nobody wants to do that. That's too complicated. I'll never be able to figure that out. And because she's in the target market we want for a lot of our games, if it's too complicated for her, it's too complicated to have in. So it's really good to have somebody like that who's a little bit more of she's a little lighter of a gamer. She's a little more of a Euro gamer. It's great to have her give me real input as to how we need to make things work.
And is she a lifetime gamer as you are?
Pretty much. She was gaming before I met her, and I met her when she was 15. So, yeah. So she was gaming. She had a stack of games in her house before I even met her. But like I said, she was all card games, rummies, and the games you would find, at Walmart or, whatever the store, Gold Circle back then, or Hearts. She had the typical games that every kid had.
Okay, so she's well versed then in ideas of mechanics, what to apply to what sells, what doesn't sell to the normal. When I say normal person, to the norm.
Yeah, she has a really good feel for when things are starting to get out of hand.
Does she even look at your war games?
She used to play it back. There was a phase in the I met her in 85, so she played war games with me from like 85 to 95 until we discovered Euro games. And then she's like, oh, we're playing Euro games, and you and your friends can play war games from now on. But so she's played a lot of, I should say, a lot of the group war games, like Britannia and Dune and Civilization. Like, she played all those games where it wasn't just me and her, but she would be a part of, you know, if a group of 4 or 5 guys, 6 guys were coming over, she'd be at the table with us and play that with us.
And is she ruthless in Dune?
No, she's not ruthless in anything.
Okay. So she doesn't like conflict, right?
It's not her favorite. I won't say she dislikes it. She understands it, and she understands the need for it in games, but it's not her very favorite thing to do, to go around and, you know, take other people on face to face, you know, head to head, and do it that way. She's more of a builder, more of a, you know, more of that kind, more subtle gamer, more into
cooperative. She's more cooperative.
No, neither one of us are cooperative. We don't like, neither one of us like cooperative games pretty much at all.
Really? Hey, so you haven't played games like Pandemic?
Oh, we played them. We just don't like them.
Right, I used to find that game extremely hard till you figure out how to do it, and then it's ridiculously easy.
Nah, I guess I haven't played it that much. We played it, and neither one of us liked the quarterbacking concept in games. So she doesn't like anybody telling her what to do. I don't like anybody telling me what to do. When I play a game, when I play any game, I want to go and I want to find some edge thing that I can do and just have fun doing it, and just see what kind of random chaos I can cause when I play.
And are you ruthless?
I used to be until I started playing Euro games with her. I kind of laugh at everybody. Like, when I started playing games, I was a lot more like the 85 Bears, where I would just try and clamp down everything that everybody did and try and be the last person standing. And I've gone from there. I don't know, you probably get this reference. I've gone from there to being like the Air Coryell Chargers, where it's just, I just try and score as many points as I can, and the heck with what everybody else is doing. And okay. Carlo likes it when I play that way better, because I'm not caring about what she's doing. I'm not caring about what the rest of the table's doing. I'm just throwing points down. If I do well, I do well. If I don't, I don't. But you can't say I'm not trying to score. That's all I'm trying to do, is just trying to get the points I can get.
So what Euro games you guys have going right now?
Well, our big thing is every week we play a game of Terraforming Mars, and we've been doing that since the pandemic. So,
you enjoy that game?
I do.
I actually have it and its expansions, but because I'm alone in this world, I don't know. Does it play solo?
I think it does.
But what's the use type thing?
I'm sorry. What's the what?
Like, is it worth it to play solo, or is there an edge to that game?
I don't know if it's worth it playing solo. To be honest with you, I am blessed with players. I have 3 different groups of people I play with on 3 different days. So I'm blessed with players. I'm blessed with play testers. I never really have to do anything alone, so I generally just don't. I know it's got solo rules to it, but it's just so different every time you play, and there's now so much to it that it's just a lot of fun to play, and that we all know it real well. But you know, we play that. We play Dark Domains. We still play a lot of Power Grid.
Power Grid's fantastic, man.
Yep, most definitely.
Did you steal anything from Power Grid and incorporate it into your designs?
I don't think so. Not that I can recall.
Okay, it's funny because I asked. I had an interview with Matt Calkins, the Sekigahara designer.
Okay, yeah.
And I thought he had that auction thing happening where you see what's coming out next and you could bid for it or plan for it, but I was wrong. Anyways, going back to Freedom and Freeze's game, I think Power Grid is a genius of a game.
Oh, yeah.
My opinion.
I love it. It's one of our favorites.
Yeah, because I used to work in a psychiatric daycare center, day center. It's been a while. and I used to be an animator there. And a lot of people loved Power Grid because it was really, it's a little bit cutthroat, you know, because you can be at the top of the heap. You could be at the top of the heap, and the last play, you're last.
Yep.
It's just a beautiful game. A beautiful game. Talking about beautiful games, I have a Thunder Alley. For me, is a beautiful game, and it's a milestone game for me. And there's a story. There's a story there. One day I'm a musician, right? So I'm a composer. So I used to watch STUKAJOE. You've heard of STUKAJOE?
I have.
Okay. At the beginning, STUKAJOE did a playthrough of B-17 Queen of the Skies, and he narrated it, and he brought it to life a bit, because the game demands what do you call that? It's a narrative, you know?
Right.
And so that was the first game that Tony Curtis sent us, because Joe did the video and I did the music for it. And I remember being in New Brunswick, a province here in Canada, and I was in a hotel because I was going to another province, Nova Scotia. And I couldn't wait for that video to come out. And that game is indelibly stamped in my heart, Jeff, in my heart. So I thank you for that, man. Because I made friends with STUKAJOE. We're good friends now, and the guy's great. And I was going to ask you, a Civil War game, what are you waiting for? And I'm talking about the American Civil War.
Yeah, well, I guess that. First of all, I don't know. The Civil War has never really attached itself to me as a topic I wanted to cover. I've had a lot of people who wanted to convert Maneuver to a Civil War version, and I've had numerous people bring that up to me, and I've told them that I would be happy to, share the formula and help them make it, but nobody ever follows through on it. I don't know what I would do with it.
And Maneuver what scale is Maneuver?
It's hard to say. I want to be flippant and say it's in chess scale, but it's the pieces represented are regiments, and I think regiments, yeah. But it's really an abstract. It feels like a battle, but it doesn't look like one. You only have 8 pieces on a side. And like I said, it's a lot of fun to play. It was a lot of fun to make. But I do get a lot of people want more from it. They want more pieces, more map, more space. And we've tried to do it, but the game just kind of falls apart when you try and make it more.
So you're not forcing yourself to create an expansion for what people want. It's just the game is what it is, and that's that.
And we've made we did one expansion for it called Distant Lands. We added 4, outside the box from the Napoleonic era armies to it. We added India, China, Japan, and, well, not that far outside the box, but Sweden. So there are now 12 armies for it. But GMT has pretty much told me that they're happy with what we have. They don't really want me to delve deeper
on it. Okay.
Yeah, delve deeper into those. So we may put out a little tiny army pack, like just the counters and a pack of cards for through Laboratory H. They've told us that that's fine. If we come up with something, we want to do something like that, we do it through Laboratory H.
And I'm seeing the map here, Jeff, and it's square grids.
Yep.
Is this game, and I don't know much of this game. I don't know anything of this game. But is this game people friendly in terms of rules? Not like you need a lawyer to read these rules.
It's super people friendly, and that's what it is. And again, that's the kind of games I'm trying to get out into the market. is much less Chrome, much less rules. They're really easy to. It's a really easy game to learn. You play a game in about an hour or less. And we are coming out with, like, Laboratory H is going to produce a fantasy version of it. But some of the other eras just don't fit to the system.
It's funny you say that you're trying to make it easy or you simplify instead of making it easy. And you're not the first designer that says that. As a matter of fact, the majority of designers that I've interviewed, Carol Paradzi, Herman Lettman, even Mark Herman, they're trying to make games. I don't know if I can use more accessible, but
I would.
Not as, yeah, I guess. But why is that? Is that because you've gained so much, you have so much gaming years that you don't want these big, huge rules anymore? Like, you don't got the time, you don't have the focus. What is it? Why are, in your opinion, or why do you want to make things simpler?
I have two very, in my opinion, very driving reasons. One is the simple economics of it. If you can make a fun game with good detail simple, you can sell to more people. So that's point one, is I'm making a game. I make no qualms that I'm trying to make games for profit. Doesn't always work out that way, but
well, it's a business too, eh?
It's a business. And so part of that business is, I would say, trying to maximize your market, trying to get the market, trying to get a game in front of as many people as you can who are willing to play it. So that's point A. Point B is, I agree with you. I have many, many years of gaming, and I am tired of picking up a game and having to read section 43B to find out that on Tuesdays of each week on the game turn, that this unit has to sit down and, I don't know, make spaghetti.
I was going to say make pasta.
Yeah,
You're thinking of Berg, eh?
I am. That's one of them.
Yeah.
But there's just so many games, and there's so many games that have little bits of Chrome for just this one situation that they have to have in the game because they feel like they would be, either they think they're smarter than everybody else and they're putting something in nobody else gets, or that they think everybody will demand it, so they'll have to put it in. And I'm just not that way. I just, if something is that much Chrome, I just don't think it's worth having. And I just want people to have fun playing the game.
Now, does that simplicity model rob you of your creativity?
No, it enhances it. Because now I have to find ways to be creative to get the things that you think are important, that people think are important in a game, or that I think are important in a game, with a minimum of people having to be frustrated with rules. So Seas of Thunder is an excellent point in that. The scoring system in Seas of Thunder is very simple, but there are years of me and my co-designers sitting down, sifting through convoy data, where operations took place, where different invasions that you probably never even heard of took place, who fought where and when. And we didn't, we start going down rabbit holes, and you find all these places that, there was conflict in between odd people, and you're like, but we can't have all that in the game. You can't even write that rule book. So you have to start being more creative, trying to find ways to make a game that more people can play, while still keeping the important parts to the game in it. And I think it makes me better, and it makes it much more interesting from my point of view to try and find a way that you can get the cool stuff in a game without people having to labor over a rule book.
Well, the thing is that as an artist, because you are an artist, you're a designer, you have to have a heavy skill set to break it down and make it simple. And that's absolutely not easy. So where do you get your inspiration when you're stuck, when you've got writer's block? It ain't working. It ain't working. Like from what? The wind, that truck going by your house, making a certain rhythmic sound, watching TV?
Well, It's going to sound cliche, but the first thing is a shower. I get most of my answers are found in the shower.
Okay.
Just when you're not thinking of anything else and something
Right.
comes to you. And we also have a really great group of old-time guys, younger guys. We have a really mixed group of gamers here. And like I told you, I have 3 different groups I play with on 3 different days. They range from all ages, all, men, women, all kinds of different people. And after this many years, when I have a block and something's not working, I have a lot of people to bounce ideas off of, and they have, they've been designing with me essentially for 25 years now.
I see. Okay. Okay.
And if I can't come up with an answer, one of them probably can.
Which is cool, man. Which is cool. That's great. And who does your rule book? Do you do the rule book?
Unfortunately, I do the rule book.
And who proofreads the rule book?
I kind of open that up to whoever will do it. I do it, but I will be the first to tell you I am not a good proofreader.
Yeah.
And I am also, especially of my own stuff, but I've learned I'm not even a good proofreader of other people's stuff. It's not my top skill set. I
understand.
So I have a few people I trust that will go through it. GMT has their own proofreaders, so they have people who go through it and just looking for different things. So that's a big help when I do a GMT rulebook. But when I do my own, boy, it's rough.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying. I can't do that stuff either, because in my head I know what I'm reading in my head, but it's not what I'm reading on paper.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I self-correct when I read my own rules.
Yeah, look, it's what it is, Yep. And soloing your games, meaning that you present something to GMT or anybody. Well, mostly GMT, because I'm focused on GMT. It's GMT wants a solo.
They do.
It's because solo sells also. I mean, it's a marketing thing too. How does that happen with you, man?
It hasn't. I am not, because I never play solo. I honestly don't even know how to begin to make a solo game.
But they have a solo department.
They do, but it is. They were not that helpful for my stuff. Okay. And that'll be. You want some dirt? That's the one thing I'll tell you.
But I mean, maybe it doesn't work for your games. You know what I'm saying?
And it just that might just be it. But I presented it to them, and they really didn't seem to have many answers for me on it. And like I said, maybe it is because my games rely too much on, the 2 players competing against each other, that there's not a system that you're trying to take on.
No, I understand. Because I'm sure they would have come out with a solo something in one of your games, for God's sakes, man.
I've given my blessing. If somebody can come up with, I've on Board Game Geek, wherever, if you can come up with it, I will go to the high horse. I'll go to the heavens with you and support you in making it, but I'm not good at it.
Yeah. So we're not going to get a solo game from you anytime soon. Is that right?
I would say that is probably correct.
What about Carla?
Oh, she's even worse.
Oh, okay.
I don't think she could imagine. She can't even imagine pulling out a game and reading the rules on her own.
Okay.
She is not playing a game solo.
Yeah. So you're not. Are you a game collector?
I used to be, but then I decided that if it's in the house, I'm playing it. And if I'm not playing it, I sold it.
So what about old Avalon, old SPI, old Victory Games? No?
I'm looking at all of them. We play them.
Really, eh?
Yeah. We're playing SPI's World War III this weekend.
And who's the designer?
I don't know. It's like 50 years old. I don't know.
Okay, no, it's cool. I'm just asking. Because some people they want to know everything. But anyways, and we were talking about that. We were talking about that yesterday on We have a show called Everything You Wanted to Know About War Games, but We're Afraid to Ask. And it's hardly ever about war games. It's always about the hookers and blow, whatever. I'm joking. And we were talking about that. What the hell was I going to say, for God's sakes, Jeff?
I don't know. We were talking about old war games and designers.
Yeah, you know what? I lost. As soon as I said hookers and blow, I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, we were talking about like the heydays of gaming, of war gaming.
Yeah, the Avalon Hill in the 70s and SPI.
Would you say it's the 70s?
Yeah.
So what's happening today? What would you call it today? A renaissance?
I guess.
Like does it even do you even care about that stuff, or it's just like bah?
I care about it because it's the industry I'm in. So,
right.
I need to be aware of stuff that's going on. But I feel like I guess a renaissance, a new generation, so there's a lot of new ideas and a lot of new stuff going on right now. And old stuff coming back, but being tweaked. Like I just got my Russian campaign, my GMT Russian campaign. Yep, just got it yesterday. So looking forward to getting that out. Now I have to sell my old edition to half price books now.
Was that a straight reprint or was it tweaked?
It looks like, and from what I hear, it's a straight reprint. I opened it up and looked at it. It's got like every variant counter that's been in like all these different magazines. And they're listed on a counter sheet. Like this is from War Plan number 79. And so it's like, oh, looks like everything's covered.
Okay, so we're talking heavy chrome here.
Yeah. Looks like, but I mean, Russian Campaign's just, it's one of the simpler games. I don't think it's going to be too heavy on the chrome. But it's big. It's a bigger map. It's got bigger counters. Looks like 3/4 inch counters. And the map looks huge compared to the old one.
Okay, and who publishes that?
That's GMT.
GMT, okay. I don't know why, for some reason I thought John Consim. I thought it was Consim.
Not this version. This version I P500 through GMT.
Right. That's just me. I messed up. You know what? And my mind goes everywhere, Jeff. Sorry, But I'm really interested now in maneuvers, for God's sakes, because I just saw this map, and I'm like, it reminds me, funny enough, of a Euro game, the map, but it's tiled, called Carcassonne.
Yeah. Yes, it does. I told him to take Carcassonne and make me a war game out of it. That's what that was the instructions I gave the guy making the map.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's too cool. Because my wife, that would be the game that she would say, okay, you want to play a game? Let's play the game. So I would love to show her this and say, this is Carcassonne. But you got guys shooting at each other,
Yeah, and I mean, I love it because the people who play it, people who look at it say, I don't know what's going on here. This is just, and then they play it and they're like, oh my gosh, how I was telling you that I like to take all the chrome and just sort of like put it in the background, play your game, and then you'll find the chrome as you're playing. Well, Maneuver is the perfect example of that. No, the countries everything looks the same, and then you start playing and you realize the Prussians play nothing like the Spanish and they play nothing like the French. And me over here, the Russians play completely different. And, oh yeah, by the way, the Turks are a wholly different army and you have to play them a whole different way than the rest of the game. So once you start playing it, you realize that, wow, there's a lot here that they're just not asking me to figure out. It's just here when I start to play it. And when I start to play and try and make decisions, my decisions are going to be driven by what the country's good at.
Now, is there line of sight in this game?
Very minimal. The artillery shoots 2 spaces. It can't shoot through a town or another unit or a hill or a forest. So, but everything only shoots in you either attack the adjacent space or artillery shoots 2 spaces away.
And that's it.
That's it. but some units can shoot without melee, and some units have to melee. And so, I mean, even the different types of things they can do. Some units can withdraw. Some units can skirmish. They can lay an attack card down, and then the other side can play a skirmish card and run away. And so every country has their own strengths and weaknesses.
And how was that received, that game, by the people?
It was received exactly like you would think it is if you're a grognard, which, like, A, there's nothing here. Oh, wait a minute. There's a lot more here than I thought. That was literally... There was literally a year of, oh, this game's nothing. Oh, wait a minute. We're playing this game. Oh, wait a minute. There's a lot here. Oh, can we have an expansion? So that's kind of the way it went.
Did you expect that?
Yes, I did. And because that's exactly what happened when we tried to pitch it to companies. We made out 10 copies of it. We used wood pieces, and it was, nice deluxe set. And we mailed them to 10 different companies. And apparently the only company that opened it up was GMT. And when Andy Lewis first opened it up, he's like, because I saw these pieces and I didn't know what to do with it. He goes, I set it up, I played it, and I was like, huh. So then he called Gene, and I guess they played a game over the phone. And by the time they were done playing the game over the phone, he's like, okay, there's definitely something here. And that's when he called me and said, hey, do you want to do this through GMT? And I agreed to do it with them. And he said, well, take it, and we want to hear some more wargamers play it and get their, we think we're right, but we want to hear what they say. So I went to, I don't know if you're familiar with the Columbus Area Board Game Society.
No.
Okay. It's just a big game group here in Columbus, but it was founded by a bunch of wargamers. So I took it to them. We played there. They gave their reports, and everything worked out well. Well, it happened to be the same day as the Gathering of Friends when it used to be in Columbus. And so a bunch of people from the Gathering of Friends came to Cabs that night just to check out Cabs. And one of the guys was the owner of Columbia Games. And he said, hey, why don't you send this game to me? It's a block game. And I said, well, you've had one for like 2 months. So I sent it to you 2 months ago, and you never responded. So that's how it ended up at GMT. And yeah, there's just a lot more to that game than you think. And that's when I started realizing that was when I really came to the epiphany that people wanted to have the fun, and they wanted to have the depth in the game. They just didn't want to really have to spend hours learning how to play it.
I understand, yeah. And did you take anything from Borg's design, Memoir 44? That type of.
I didn't even know it existed.
Seriously.
Seriously, it wasn't until I went to Cabs with it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, so you're basing it on this?" And I'm like, "Never even heard of it." And they sat down and they showed me that one while I showed them Maneuver.
And how does it differ? Because this is a card.
Hold on a second, I got an alarm going off.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back.
Jeff, how does it compare to Memoir 44? Is it like the same? Is it like physics? Newton and the other guy from Germany creating calculus at the same time type thing?
Something like that. It's got differences. Like, you don't, in Maneuver, you move a unit. You don't have to have a card to move, but you do have to have a card to fight. It's got some similarities, especially in the level of the game, but they're different games.
Don't you want to World War II this system?
I do, and I have tried. So far, I have come up sort of lacking in results, because the game system seems to be much more fundamentally sound at linear battles, like,
World War I.
Not even World War I. We tried that too. It's more Napoleonics and earlier, where you have, lines of guys and blocks of units moving around. It's more of that kind of game than every time I do World War II, it ends up needing to be bigger, like more space.
Mm.
It doesn't feel like it fits, and then it starts getting out of hand.
Well, it seems to me you can easily Civil War this.
You probably could. My only problem with the Civil War part of it is that the game is especially cool because you get to match up so many different armies, right? You can say, today we're going to play Austria versus France, or we're going to bring the USA into the battle and we're going to have them fight the Russians. Or now you can have the Japanese fighting, the Prussians. So that's the kind of where the cool part of it lies. And when you only have two sides, then you have to find another way to do that. And it's just never appealed to me to try and figure out, how to make it just a two-sided, different units of two sides.
Look, I don't want to take too much more of your time, Jeff, but I just want to ask you, are you going to any cons soon? And do you watch any YouTube stuff? Blah blah blah.
So the convention part is tough to say. I told you earlier I have health problems. Carla has a lot of health problems, especially with her feet. So cons are really difficult right now for us. And plus, Carla is now unemployed, and we're trying to find money. We normally would go to Origins because it's in our backyard, just right down the street.
Oh, no way. Okay. So do you know Gary Mengel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's been over here. We played, what was it? Stellar Horizons. We played here with him.
Stellar Horizons from Academy?
Compass.
And how was that?
Overly complicated.
Okay.
I'm actually trying to work on cutting that down.
No, I understand.
Yeah. So we would normally go to Origins. We would normally go to Buckeye Game Fest here. We would normally go to some other small cons around here. We went to Gen Con a couple times. It's not for us. It's too big, too crowded. Origins is perfect, but again, right now, this year, money's a situation. Carla may need foot surgery in the near future. So instead of trying to predict whether we're going to be able to go or not, we're probably just going to wait till 2024 and maybe get back on the schedule when things are looking better for us.
And a designer you look up to in terms of the whole package. I'm talking game design, smarts, and business design. Like I'm talking about making money from living off of war games. The only one I can think of is Knizia.
Well, that was going to be my answer. I've met him a couple of times at different conventions. He's a really cool guy. He's very inspiring when you meet him and stuff. So yeah, he is, and he can monetize anything. And he has given me the notion that if you do something right and you do a good system, don't shy away from that system. Originally I had never intended to do expansions for stuff because I just thought that was too easy. But I will tell you another one, and it should have been the number one person I brought up, Richard Lanius. Richard Lanius is essentially my mentor. He's the guy. He loved NASCAR. I didn't even know him, and he comes up to me, and he had heard that we were doing a NASCAR game. This was still when Thunder Alley was in playtesting, and he demanded that we play Thunder Alley with him at the Buckeye Game Fest. And ever since then, he's the one that encouraged us to start our own company. He has been behind us at every instance. And I also love I really didn't know him. And once I knew him, I started buying his games back. And I'm like, wow, he's really good at what he does. Now he does a different style than I do. He does a lot of, cooperative type things and stuff like that. So it's not always in our wheelhouse, but I still steal a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, Richard Lanius definitely is our guy.
Hold on, let me shut this off there. Oh, give me a second. I'm just going to tell this person to
No
take
problem.
a walk. Hello. Hi, Chantal. Can I call you back? I'm doing an interview right now. Okay, bye. Yeah. Jeff, it's really nice meeting you, man.
Yeah.
I know Artie's going to be doing a con in 2024, for God's sakes, if I live that long. Maybe I'll see you there, man. Maybe it'll be fun. And, here's a question. What game, if I can say, what game are you most proud of? Or one of the games.
I'd have to say the game I'm most proud of is probably Thunder Alley.
You know what? I love that game. We played it in the psychiatric place I worked in, and it was just like, oh, man, my engine's running down. Okay, pit stop. You know what? Just to let you know, some people in psychiatry, because of their illness, they're scatterbrained, okay? I mean, it's like, for God's sakes. And they loved that game, man.
I'm happy. I'm happy to hear it.
I couldn't believe it.
No, it's something I am just very proud of that game. It turned out so well. Carl and I worked really hard on it. We got a lot of help from a lot of friends on it. It was like the apex of everything we've done.
Okay.
And I'm not saying things went downhill from there, but Maneuver was opened one set of doors, but Thunder Alley opened a whole nother set of doors.
Right.
That, Maneuver was like, oh, you made a game. Great. We'll talk to you about stuff. Thunder Alley is like, oh, wait a minute. You made Thunder Alley? We need to talk. You know?
Well, it's a conflict game. You got to think ahead. That there's battling. I forget what you call it when you go this way. Honey, Jesus, I forgot. I haven't played
displacement, lateral displacement.
Lateral displacement. Ah, man. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I think it's a great game, and I thank you for doing it, because you opened up a lot of stuff with me. Yeah, you've opened up me getting into doing channels like this. By the way, do you watch my channel, for God's sakes?
No, I don't watch anything on YouTube.
I figured.
I listen to podcasts.
What are you listening to?
Mostly I listen to things like the Tony Kornheiser Show and a lot of soccer stuff. A lot of stuff on the Wheel of Time right now. Just I read. I do a lot of books, a lot of recap of books.
Are you a music fan?
Oh yeah.
What's your thing?
80s glam metal bands.
Do you know Japan?
No.
Okay. Check out Japan.
Okay.
And no, seriously, check out Japan.
I will.
Jeff, thanks so much, man. You're a nice guy. From what I've seen from Carla, she looks like a sweetheart.
She is just super quiet, and she'd just be sitting here the whole time watching us. So I'm glad you gave her the out. She kind of felt like she needed to be here, but I
didn't want to make her feel uncomfortable. I know. Look, Mark Simonich. I'm trying to get an interview with Mark Simonich. Forget it. He doesn't do videos. Ty Bomba. Forget it. He doesn't even have a phone. Stuff like that.
If you want to know what Carla's like, if you ever get a chance to look up her, she did a Board Game Geek preview with me on Dark Domains back the year it came out. And everybody contacted her afterwards and said, were you all right? Were you being held prisoner? Because she didn't say a thing. She didn't blink. She didn't do anything.
Oh, I get it. Some people are just shy introverts, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's actually me. But I get it. I get going for things like this. And then in 5 minutes after we're done, I'll say, was I able to do that? How was I able to do that?
Nah, that's cool. And I'm glad you did it. It was really nice. And I hope to see you sometime, man.
Yeah. Like I said, this year doesn't seem to be our year for that kind of stuff, but we'll be back at it in the future. Okay.
Well, Jeff, take care of yourself. And I hope everything goes well for your wife and in terms of her feet.
Yeah, me too.
And hey, man, have a good one.
All right, you too.
Take care.
All right, bye.